What if I told you that not every RPG needs to be open world to blow your mind? Some of the best stories, the tightest combat, and the most unforgettable moments come from games that keep it simple, linearly. Whether you're into powerful narratives, clean progression, or just want a damn good time without endless backtracking, this list has something for you.
Monstrums, the time is nigh. Under the red moons.
Ys 9 might not be the most famous action RPG out there, but it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. The cool part is you don't need to play any of the older Ys games to get into it, because each one stands on its own. This chapter follows Adol Kristin as he arrives in the city of Balduq, a massive fortress-like place that's as shady as it is mysterious. Things go sideways quick when Adol is thrown in prison and cursed, turning him into a monstrum, which is a being with strange powers who's now tied to a parallel dimension known as the Grimwald Nox. What makes this game stand out isn't just the fast-paced combat, though that's definitely a highlight. It's how smooth and punchy everything feels. Dodging at the last second slows time for a flash move. Landing perfect blocks rewards you with instant counters. And swapping characters mid-fight lets you chain skills together in a flow that never lets up. Each party member has their own attack type like slash, strike, or pierce, and enemies have weaknesses tied to them, so you're constantly adjusting on the fly, which keeps fights fresh and tactical. Skills can be assigned to shortcuts and upgraded through repeated use, giving them stronger effects and lower SP cost. You'll also find materials hidden all over the city and dungeons, which feed into a crafting system that lets you forge better gear, upgrade weapons, and even create items to help in battle. Whether you're fine-tuning builds or just loading up on potions before a boss fight, everything feeds into the action without slowing it down. Every monstrum you add to your crew brings a new traversal ability that completely changes how you move through Balduq. One lets you scale walls, another helps you glide across rooftops, and soon the city feels like a giant playground packed with secrets, shortcuts, and hidden quests. The story mixes prison breaks, secret organizations, and a creeping supernatural threat that ties everything together. It's fast-paced but never rushed, and the way new gameplay mechanics are introduced keeps the whole thing engaging from start to finish. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden is a slow-burn, story-driven RPG that knows exactly what it wants to be. No open-world fluff, no unnecessary padding, just a focused journey filled with heavy choices and emotional consequences. You play as a duo of ghost hunters in a cursed 17th century settlement, and right from the start, the game puts you in the middle of a deeply personal conflict. One of the main characters is dead, but the other is still trying to save her. The combat hits a sweet spot between action and strategy. You switch between an exorcist with traditional melee weapons and a ghost partner who uses supernatural abilities to control the battlefield. Dodging, parrying, and chaining combos feels smooth, and the tag team mechanic adds a nice rhythm to each fight. You'll stun enemies, interrupt attacks, and unleash devastating ghost powers in ways that feel satisfying without being overwhelming. As you progress, the combat opens up even more, with skill upgrades and passive perks that let you fine-tune your playstyle. Some abilities create openings for your partner to follow up with brutal finishers, while others let you chain crowd control effects or deal bonus damage based on enemy states. And the enemy design keeps things interesting, constantly throwing new patterns, resistances, and ghostly twists your way so you're always adapting. Outside of combat, the upgrade system gives you plenty of ways to shape your characters without drowning you in busy work. Materials you find while exploring can be used to upgrade weapons and armor. Ghost abilities, on the other hand, are improved by spending essence earned from haunting cases. A new blade combo might make you more aggressive, while a spectral enhancement could turn your ghost partner into a full-on crowd control machine. One of the most unique systems in Banishers is how it handles spirits and hauntings. Throughout the game, you'll investigate supernatural cases tied to different characters and decide whether to banish the ghosts or sacrifice the living to bring back your lost partner. These choices aren't just moral. They directly impact the ending and your build. So it constantly forces you to weigh what you're willing to give up for the person you love. Grandia might not be the flashiest RPG out there, but what it nails is heart, pacing, and a real sense of adventure. It's a classic from the PS1 era that throws you into a bright, optimistic world full of discovery, where every new town, dungeon, and moment pushes the journey forward without dragging you down with side fluff. The story follows Justin, a kid who dreams of becoming an adventurer like his dad, and it might sound like a lighthearted tale at first, but as the journey unfolds, it dives into themes of loss, legacy, and the true cost of chasing your dreams, all told through characters that feel honest and alive. But what really makes Grandia stand out is its combat system. It mixes turn-based and real-time elements with a timeline that shows when each character or enemy gets to act. So positioning and timing matter a lot, because you can cancel enemy actions if you strike at the right moment. It feels tactical, fast, and way more engaging than the usual turn-based grind. As you're not just watching meters fill up, you're reading the flow of the battle and reacting in real time. The progression system is just as solid. Instead of picking rigid classes, you evolve your characters by using weapons and magic in battle. Swing a sword enough times and you'll unlock stronger combos, cast fire magic often, and it levels up independently. The more you use a skill, the better it gets. And certain abilities only unlock when you hit specific combinations of weapon and magic levels. It's super flexible and rewards experimentation without ever getting too complicated. There's no padding, no aimless wandering, just a steady ride from one meaningful event to the next. Dungeons have smart layouts, towns are packed with personality, and the game knows exactly when to throw the next twist or boss your way. It respects your time while still delivering a full, satisfying journey from start to finish. Now, we've got one of the most slept-on RPGs of the last decade, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. It kicks off looking like your usual school-life anime setup, with a bunch of students at a military academy, but it quickly turns into a deep political drama that spans an entire empire. You play as Rian Schwarzer, who's not just learning combat tactics, he's getting caught up in a growing civil war, secret experiments, and a clash between nobles and commoners that threatens to tear everything apart. The story takes its time, but it pays off big, as every character in your class matters. You see their relationships grow, you unlock their backstories, and it makes every mission hit harder. The towns evolve as the story moves forward, NPCs have daily routines, and your choices actually affect how your classmates interact with you. Combat is turn-based but slick and strategic. You've got link attacks that let you follow up when allies are synced, creating openings for extra damage or even automatic counters. Positioning isn't just cosmetic. It directly impacts which enemies you hit and how vulnerable you are to area attacks. Some skills push or pull enemies around the field, letting you set up combos or disrupt their formation. As the game goes on, the combat keeps opening up. Characters unlock new crafts, which are unique abilities that reflect their fighting style, and you can level these up to improve power, effects, and efficiency. You'll also manage orbments through the Arcus system, slotting quartz to access elemental spells, passive bonuses, or status resistances. It's not just a matter of throwing in the strongest option, you'll be tuning your loadout depending on what kind of fight you're heading into. And outside the battlefield, you're constantly rewarded for exploring and engaging with the world. You earn Sepith in fights to craft quartz, collect rare gear through side quests, and unlock new perks through social bonds and academy tasks. It creates a loop where everything you do feeds back into making your squad stronger, more versatile, and more personal. It's a massive game, but if you're into world-building, story-driven RPGs and tactical combat that actually rewards planning, this one's a gem that too many people missed. Valkyria Chronicles 4 doesn't follow the usual RPG formula, and that's exactly what makes it special. It mixes turn-based strategy with third-person shooting in a way that feels super fresh. even years after its release. The story focuses on a group of soldiers trying to survive a brutal war, but what really sells it is the way the game gives each character personality and purpose. They're not just units, they're people, and that makes you care when things go south. Combat is where the game really shines, because each mission is basically a puzzle. Sometimes you'll blitz through enemy lines with tanks. Other times you're sneaking behind sniper nests with limited ammo and nerves of steel. And you're not just picking commands from a list, you're taking direct control of each soldier, aiming every shot yourself and making split-second decisions about movement, cover, and positioning. Command points limit how many actions you can take per turn, so you have to choose between pushing forward, reinforcing defenses, or setting up overwatch positions. Different classes like scouts, shock troopers, snipers, engineers, grenadiers, and lancers each bring unique roles to the battlefield, and learning how to chain their strengths together is key to victory. And instead of leveling up soldiers one by one, you train entire classes boosting their stats and unlocking new abilities that open fresh tactics. As you advance, characters gain personal potentials, which are special traits that can trigger in combat, some positive, but others risky. On top of that, weapons and gear can be upgraded through the R&D system, letting you customize everything from firepower and accuracy to armor. Tanks also have their own upgrade trees too, allowing you to enhance armor, add new weapons, or equip support functions like smoke screens and extended movement. And yeah, it's got anime flair and over-the-top moments, but it also knows when to hit hard with emotional beats. So, if you're into tactical RPGs and want something that plays different but still feels tight and rewarding, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is absolutely worth your time.
Die! Damn it! Fire! Fire!
Valkyrie Profile throws you into a world where gods are recruiting souls for the final battle. And you play as a Valkyrie sent to find the fallen and prepare them for Ragnarok. But it's not just about fighting, because every soul you find has a full story. You see how they lived, how they died, what kind of pain they carried, and that emotional weight sticks with you. Combat feels fast and rewarding. It's turn-based, but each button on the controller is tied to a specific character, so battles feel more like a rhythm game than a traditional RPG. You're juggling combos, timing attacks, and launching enemies into the air for finishers, and chaining moves builds up your special gauge, and once it's full, you can unleash a cinematic purification attack that hits hard and looks incredible. Each character you recruit comes with their own class, moveset, and growth path. Some are physical attackers, others specialize in spells, and each one brings something unique to the party. As you level up, you can assign points into different traits and skills, tweaking how they perform in combat or how well they meet the requirements to be sent to Valhalla. There's also a deep system of upgradable skills, both active and passive. You can improve combat abilities like hit chance, elemental resistances, and magic output, but also raise personality traits, which influence how the gods judge your recruits. Weapons, armor, and relics can be crafted or earned, and some are tied to specific characters or story choices, giving even more reason to explore every corner of the world. But what really makes Valkyrie Profile special is the mood. The music is haunting, the voice acting has this strange theatrical vibe, and the whole thing feels like a myth in motion, full of tragedy, sacrifice, and beauty. It's not the kind of game that holds your hand. You can miss characters, screw up endings, and lock yourself out of key events if you're not careful. But if you give it your attention, it'll reward you with one of the most unforgettable RPG experiences ever made.
Nivalang Balesti! I see this foe will not fall.
Mugen no Kensen! Blade Art! Senko Jin! You still fight?
Alright, quick pit stop before we dive back in. If you're enjoying this so far, don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment with your favorite linear RPG, or one you'd love to see in the next video. This is the start of a brand new series here on the channel, all about the beauty of story-driven RPGs, so I'll leave the playlist link in the description and in the card at the end. Comments help keep the algorithm happy and the channel alive, and yes, I actually check and reply to every single one. So go ahead, make my notifications explode. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, it's free, painless, and comes with +5 charisma in future comment sections. Back on the PSP, Crisis Core was already something special, but now, with the Reunion remaster, it finally gets the presentation it always deserved. The updated visuals are clean and sharp, with smoother animations and new voice work that adds more emotional weight to every scene. The combat in Reunion is real-time, fast, and surprisingly fluid for a game that started on the PSP. You've got full control of Zack on the battlefield, and you can dodge, block, and chain attacks in real time while cycling through abilities and spells mapped to a command menu. The Digital Mind Wave System, or DMW, adds a layer of unpredictability and strategy to combat. It's a slot reel that spins automatically during battles and can randomly trigger buffs, summons, or powerful limit breaks. Behind the scenes, an invisible XP system influences the chances, so it's not just about luck. Progress and consistency quietly stack the odds in your favor. There's also a full materia system that gives you tons of control over how Zack fights. You can equip magic, abilities, and stat boosts, but the real fun starts when you dive into materia fusion. The game lets you combine different types to create stronger or entirely new ones, and you can even fuse stats directly into them to give Zack huge advantages. Whether you want him to spam high-level spells, hit harder with physical attacks, or boost his survivability, the system gives you the tools to do it. Beyond materia, you can equip different accessories that boost your stats, or add effects like auto-regen, elemental resistance, or status immunity. As you progress, you unlock extra accessory slots and more materia slots, giving you way more room to build Zack exactly how you want. Some of the late-game gear can seriously change how you approach fights, especially when combined with high-end fused materia. But what really makes this game stand out is how tight and focused it is. You follow Zack Fair's journey from an ambitious soldier to a tragic hero, all while watching the foundations of Final Fantasy VII slowly come together. You see Zack grow, bond with characters like Angeal, Aerith, and even a young Cloud, and with every mission, there's this growing sense of weight behind his actions. And the closer you get to the end, the more it starts to hurt because, deep down, you know how it all ends.
Like it was nothing.
I have no intention of...
Persona 3 Reload takes one of the most emotionally charged RPGs ever made and brings it into the modern era with style. It's not just a visual overhaul, it's a full reimagining of what made the original so iconic, with reworked combat, improved pacing, and deeper character interactions that hit way harder than before. You play as a transfer student who arrives in a quiet city, only to get caught up in something far bigger than school life. Every night at midnight, time freezes for most of the world, and that's when the dark hour begins. Creatures called shadows roam the streets, and a mysterious tower called Tartarus appears, and you and a group of students awaken the power of Persona and form a team to face this hidden threat. The game keeps its signature blend of social simulation and dungeon crawling, but everything feels smoother and more polished. The combat is still turn-based, but now you control your whole party directly this time, which gives you full tactical control instead of relying on the old AI system. The one more system is still the core, hit an enemy's weakness and you get another turn. But now, you can also pull off these flashy finisher skills once you build up enough charge. On top of that, the new UI makes switching personas, scanning enemies, and managing your strategy feel way more intuitive. Everyone else is locked into one persona, but you can carry a whole arsenal and adapt on the fly. One turn you're healing the team, the next you're nuking weaknesses or buffing stats. And you get new personas through shuffle time after battles, where you can pick one to add to your collection, then head to the Velvet Room to fuse them into stronger ones. And the fusion system got a serious glow-up. It's way easier to preview skills, plan builds, and create a loadout that fits your playstyle. Outside of the battles and shadow hunting, your days are spent living a full high school life. And that's where Persona 3 really hits different. You go to class, answer questions, study for exams, and hang out with friends after school. But these aren't just side activities, they're part of how the story builds weight. Every social link you form unlocks new Persona fusion options, but more than that, You get invested in these people. Some are funny, others are heartbreaking, and a few hit way too close to home. The game slowly makes that dorm, those classrooms, and the streets around the city feel familiar. And the more you settle into that routine, the more it hurts when things start to shift.
There are so many more things we could learn. If only our journey would...
Tales of Vesperia doesn't rely on open-world exploration or sandbox distractions. Instead, it keeps the focus tight, giving you a gripping story, memorable characters, and a battle system that feels more action game than traditional RPG. The plot follows Yuri Lowell, a former soldier turned vigilante who's tired of seeing injustice go unpunished. And from the very start, the game sets a tone that's a little darker and a little more grounded than most in the series. Yuri isn't out to save the world from some generic evil. He's doing what he thinks is right, even when it goes against the law. That moral gray area gives the whole game a different energy. And while the main path is linear, it's packed with character-driven moments that keep pushing the story forward. The combat feels like a full-on action game, with real-time movement, combos, and the freedom to dodge, block, and strike without ever touching a turn-based menu. You control one character at a time, but the rest of the party fights alongside you with customizable AI. And you can swap control on the fly. Arts can be mapped to different buttons and direction combos, letting you string together flashy chains that feel super satisfying to pull off. As you progress, you unlock new arts, skills, and mechanics like Overlimit, which lets you break free from normal restrictions and go all in with uninterrupted combos. And weapons don't just boost stats. They come with unique skills that your characters can learn permanently just by using them long enough. Combine that with the skill menu, where you equip mastered abilities using limited capacity points, and you've got a system that rewards planning and experimentation without ever getting overwhelming. And the definitive edition isn't just a fresh coat of paint, it brings a ton of content that was previously locked to the Japan PS3 version. You get 2 fully playable new characters, more voice acting, extra skits, new arts, costumes, and some added scenes that flesh out both the story and side characters. Visually, the game runs smoother and cleaner across all platforms, with improved textures and a higher resolution that makes the vibrant anime art style pop even more. It's the most complete version of the game by far, and for anyone who missed out the first time or just wants to experience everything Vesperia has to offer, it's absolutely the one to play. Back on the GameCube, RPG fans got something truly special. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door isn't just charming. It's smart, stylish, and full of personality. At first glance, it looks like a lighthearted spin-off. But under the surface, this game is packed with clever writing, unique mechanics, and some of the best turn-based combat on a Nintendo console. The entire game leans into its paper theme in a way that actually affects gameplay. Mario can fold into a paper airplane to glide across gaps, roll up into a tube to fit through tight spaces, and even slip between cracks like a piece of paper. What really makes the game shine is how it blends storytelling and humor with surprisingly thoughtful design. Each chapter feels like its own mini-adventure set in a new location with new characters, puzzles, and boss fights. One moment, you're on a haunted train solving a mystery, and the next, you're fighting in an underground coliseum with a crowd cheering you on. The dialogue is snappy, the characters are weird in the best way possible, and even the villains are memorable. The battle system doesn't just rely on picking commands from a menu and watching animations play out. Every move needs timing. Press a button at just the right moment and you'll deal extra damage or block an incoming hit. Some attacks even change based on how well you pull off a little minigame. And then there's the stage setup, with an actual audience watching every battle. If you perform well, they'll cheer and toss helpful items, but if you mess up too much, they'll boo or throw trash. Each of Mario's partners brings something unique to the table, from ranged attacks to defensive skills, and choosing who to bring into battle can really shape your strategy. And instead of traditional magic points, Most special attacks use flower points, which are shared across the whole party. But the really big moves run on star power, and that builds up based on how well you perform in battle and how hyped the crowd gets. And then there's the badge system. And this is where the game really lets you customize how Mario fights. You can equip badges to unlock new attacks, change how your jumps or hammer strikes work, or even add passive bonuses like extra damage, status effects, or the ability to swap partners without wasting a turn. Alright, before you go, just a heads up. The link to the playlist is showing up in the card right now. And remember, this is just the first video in the new series, but we've got fresh RPG content dropping every single day here on the channel. So don't forget to help your pal Sage out. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment on every video, and keep the good vibes rolling.